There, we got our mic put on. Well, I hope you had a little fun with me. But it's Watchtower's not clapping and they're not dancing. I'll tell you that much right now. I was looking into this where they're paying out sanctions and stuff and they're withholding evidence. They've been doing this for a lot of years. This is not new what's going on in Montana. So we just ran a video yesterday on spoliation. That's where they've got sanctioned and caught, and we read all of it. There's a lot of spoliation, a lot of evidence just disappearing. And we showed that video where Watchtower put out this mandate, the inquiry put this video together, and they had a mandate put out to actually train their members on how to get rid of records. And that if they're tied to records, it's going to cost them millions of dollars. So Watchtower is coming from the standpoint that we're going to obstruct justice, we're going to hide the records by shredding records, getting rid of the records, so we don't even have the records, but we're going to refer to the records because we have memos. So they made memos of them destroying these records. So there's all these memos of these records. So then when they go to court, they actually reference these memos as if they have these records. And then when push comes to shove, they don't have the records. Well, of course they don't have the records because they told all their members worldwide after Australia to destroy all the records. Australia tied them to a lot of records. So they figure they've done the math already. If they have to pay out all the CSA cases in the world, you know, the average Catholic one's going for $300,000 to $400,000 right now because they've apologized and agreed to pay them out. So they're going out for around $300,000 to $400,000. You figure thousands upon thousands of these going upon the Watchtower. It's a lot of money. So they say we're better just to get rid of the records. And you know, some cases in the U.S. are going for like 35 million. There's one in Montana, there was one in California, there was a Mormon case that went and it got passed by a jury for, what, 103 million? Something ridiculous. But there are some high cases. So Watchtower's looking at the damage. They're doing their cost analysis and they're saying, get rid of all the records, then we have memos, we'll say we have records, we'll do a lot of motions and confuse the courts a whole pile. And once the courts are all confused, they'll throw it out. Most people won't have the money to fight us to the end. Well, I think Watchtower's wrong. So let's take a look at it. We're going to get right into the news today. The news today is from Watching Watchtower. And there's a playlist. You can just plug Montana in and you can get their playlist. It covers it all. But this is a sanction for the spoliation we talked about yesterday. And we'll just get this up on full here. So, yeah, they show it all here. Montana, they're watching it. And this is the Tracy Cakehart and Camellia Mapley case. So it's an update, and this is the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. You can get all this. You go to, I'm going to link you to this. Now I'm going to pause here, because this is it right here. Let's just pause here for a moment. And this is it. They order, the plaintiffs filed a statement of expenses and fees pursuant to that order. We talked about that order. If you didn't see it, it's on my yesterday's video. And the order was ordering them, sanctioning them for money. The judge hadn't figured it out yet. So for destroying records, shredding records, getting rid of records. They don't actually say they've shred records. They haven't admitted that yet. But that video that the Philadelphia Inquiry did, it's on my last video. Really interesting. So Watchtower responded that they would agree to pay the amount requested. So they agreed to it. They know they've been lying and saying things that aren't true. So they agreed to pay the amount requested. And they still want to argue this in court. You see, this all has to go in front of a jury yet, folks. Watchtower's been fighting this tooth and nail, this particular case in Montana, hoping that it goes away, but it didn't. In fact, we're going to look at Brumley. He was the Watchtower's lawyer originally on this, and they really told a bunch of lies there. So that's kind of what happened here. They got sanctioned $52,976. Just goes out to talk about this a little bit more. You know, it's all here in writing, folks, right there, signed April 5th. Is that today's date? Pretty close to it. Yesterday's date. Pretty new news. Susan Waters, she's the judge, I guess. She's been on that since the beginning. She knows their tricks. And so I thought this was interesting. Watching Watchtower brought up, what if the 52,000, you know, there's multiple cases here, 2 plaintiffs. What if they plus double that? And going forward, there's other cases kind of in line here. You know, is this kind of what it's going to cost them every time they're hiding a record? 52 grand? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the future says. But the judges are on to them. The judges, they know what's going on. So that's the end of that article. There's a lot of others. We're going to cover some others. But I wanted to, first of all, look at this. What I always wonder is where Watchtower gets all of its money to pay for all of these legal fees, these penalties. To hold these things in court all of those years, it costs a lot of money, legal fees. It's not over yet. This is just the beginning, the way I see it. Let's look at Brumley, for instance. This is old news, but it's interesting. It has to do with the same case, Brumley. Now, in case you don't know who Brumley is this is Philip Brumley. He's the Watchtower's lawyer. Let's just see what we can show you here. If you go to the Watchtower site here, type in Philip Brumley. There's lots on him. News release. He was in the Supreme Court of Canada. He was involved in that case here in Canada. And they don't have a lot on it there, but they lied in court. And we've actually showed that on other videos. So they're successful in going to court with their disfellowshipping if the person has done wrongdoing, and that's the case in Calgary. The individual that was suing them, he was disfellowshipped with cause, and they brought that all out in court, rang that guy through the cleaners, made him look bad. And then the Supreme Court says, yeah, you know, you got to have disfellowshipping, you know, we agree with it. The Mennonites, Hutterites, they do it. So that's how he passed it in Canada. But he said that a disfellowship person can have association with the congregation. That's what he said. And that was before they allowed you to say hi. This is back in 2017. So Philip Brumley, they're liars. That's what he did. You guys will know him. He's on the Watchtower site. He's the Watchtower lawyer. So what happened with Philip Brumley? Well, let's look at this. This is in Montana. This is sworn in. This was in the 2020. 2020 or 2022. June 22nd, 2020. So that's when he filed this affidavit with the court, Brumley. He says he's general counsel for the Watchtower, blah, blah, blah. He's direct knowledge, registered office. So he says Watchtower is not a direct or indirect parent subsidiary of any other corporation. Watchtower does and never has had offices in Montana, does not own assets in Montana, and does not have employees in Montana. That's what he said. Watchtower does not conduct business in Montana, is not and never has been registered to carry on his business in Montana. Watchtower has no agent for service process in Montana. You know, not even the circuit overseers visits. Watchtower has no contact with congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses located in Montana. Watchtower does not establish or disseminate policy or procedure to congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses in Montana. I don't know what's wrong with Montana because the rest of the world gets all this attention from the Watchtower. What's going on in Montana? Are they treated differently? Watchtower, here's what they say. Watchtower does not appoint or remove elders, ministerial servants, publishers, and congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses in Montana. Watchtower exists to provide certain business needs of Jehovah's Witnesses, including, among other things, holding copyrights to books, magazines, songs, and videos. And it also provides international humanitarian aid to communities after natural disasters. That's what he said. That's what Watchtower does. They don't do anything else. They don't have elders' books. They don't get involved. They don't do monthly broadcasts, dictate what if you can wear a beard, can't wear a beard. Well, the governing body says you can wear a beard. Well, this month the governing body says you can wear slacks, sisters. You see, what a liar. We're not stupid, guys. Watchtower, we're not stupid. We read this stuff. This is public documents. Watchtower exists to provide certain business needs. Get real. Number 14, the publications to which Watchtower owns copyrights, blah, 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 blah. Watchtower does not author content or... Yeah. Watchtower is organized, exists under the law of New York, non-for-profit, blah, blah, blah. So that's what he put in here. So he got challenged, but I wanted to read that just so you guys could see this. This is all the way through to the signature. It's only a couple pages. Philip Brumley, there's his signature right there, guys, right above my head. Blue ink. So this is a court document. And what happened? Well, the conclusion is that he lied through his teeth. And I'm going to link this. This is an 11-page document. And the conclusion is the plaintiffs, which is the good guys, right? Batman and Robin. That's those two girls that were victims. They haven't even gotten to court yet. Watchtower's been blindsiding them with everything, and they can't even bring their case to court. Those two girls. They're getting older, right? So the conclusion is the plaintiffs, these two girls, believe that the sustained and intentional effort to mislead the court about Watchtower's actual role in the Jehovah's Witness organization by two of its lawyers is sanctionable. And the law provides the court authority to sanction such conduct if it agrees. So that's kind of what they put forth. This is an 11-page document that they put forth showing that Brumley was full of it. He was just lying through his teeth. And you guys, if you're Jehovah's Witnesses, I read the letter. We know it's a bunch of BS. So here's what happened. Long story short, they got sanctioned. They figured out all the fees. It was $190,000. So the court agreed, and you know how they can kind of what do they call that? They can examine the costs of the other person's court fees and so forth. So that's what they did. They brought it down to $154,000. So $154,000 is what they got sanctioned, Brumley, for deceiving the court. This is a really good article of Avoid JW. Philip Brumley's sustained effort to deceive kind of spells it out here. And we read the affidavit. The affidavit was for the two cases involving CSA. So, yeah, that's what they do. They're hiding this problem that they have. This is a secret. They're keeping it secret. Well, they got rid of all the records. So now this is their way of handling it, just lying through their teeth, trying to change the way their company looks. They can only do this once. They should not be able to get away with this twice anywhere, because once this all goes through, it establishes kind of a case law. Now, this is so common, folks. If you're a Jehovah's Witness and you haven't figured this out yet, take a look at this. This is well documented here. The court sanctioned Watchtower. This is, I think, in California. And this is on Wikipedia, folks. The court sanctioned Watchtower $4,000 for each day that it did not submit the documents regarding these CSA cases. Watchtower's big secret. It's hiding them. So I don't think they have the documents. They shredded them. Watchtower unsuccessfully appealed against the ruling, and the court appeals direct Watchtower to pay fines of $48,000 by the time of the appeal and to submit them in the court. And once the case was settled out of court, February 2018 and 2015, another California trial court defaulted Watchtower and ordered it to pay look at this, folks, $4 million to the plaintiff after its failure to produce documents. So that's just what the courts are doing. This is documented in Wikipedia. So Watchtower is not going to give out those documents, even if the courts are telling them to. I think they're all gone. I think Watchtower should just close their doors for what they've done here. Folks, if you want, I'm going to pin this so you can see this. This is a whole thing on Jehovah's Witness handling of child sex abuse on Wikipedia. This is common news. Like, this is in the history books. So we send our kids to school in the future. They learn about Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, this is how they handle child sex abuse. They shred the records. They hide it within. It's their biggest secret. Let's look a little further. If you don't like Wikipedia, well, there's all kinds of legitimate news agencies running this. Jehovah's Witnesses face legal financial penalties in the court case. And here it is. The state appeals has upheld $2 million. $2 million in legal sanctions against Jehovah's Witnesses after a religious organization refused to produce internal files and documents in a lawsuit that alleged sexual misconduct by a former elder in the organization. So here's the big secrets, folks. It's elders involved in CSA, and they're hiding it. Why would Watchtower hide that? Well, because they're culpable. Their rules allowed, the two witness rules allowed that elder a scapegoat, because a young child never has two witnesses. So the elder, the pedophile elder has a way out. The rule book says so. And that's how they've been doing it for years and years and years and years. So finally, well, what's happening? Right here. This is from the Bible, folks. There's 3 scriptures here. Hebrews 4:12 says the word of God is living. It's sharper than any two-edged sword. So we're using it right here. The next one is Hebrews 1:1-2. It says, long ago, many times and in many ways, God spoke to our fathers by prophets. But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed the heir of all things, through whom also he created the world. So that's a pretty powerful statement. He's doing everything through his Son. We're not Jehovah's Witnesses. We're Jesus' witnesses. It's the Son. You see, and he didn't speak to us through a governing body at Jehovah's Witnesses headquarters. No. Here's what it says, but in the last days he's spoken to us by his Son. So folks, all you need is your Bible. Look at what Jesus said. He said, love people. That's it. You don't need a religion. You don't need a pile of watchtowers, wakes to figure that one out. It's really quite simple. It says, whom he appointed to heir of all things, through whom he also created the world. So the last scripture here to consider is 1 Corinthians 3 and verse 13. It says, each one's work will become manifest. So Watchtower's work will become manifest. And that's what's happening today, folks. For the day will disclose it, because it will be revealed by fire. And the fire will test what sort of work each one has done. So that's what's happening, folks, in the courts. The Watchtower is being tested. It's like they're being tested by fire. So we'll see what happens in the future with this. But we'll keep you posted. It doesn't look good. So if this is the case, it looks like all over the world, everyone that has CSA cases, you just bring them forth. Watchtower is going to go back and forth in the hiding of the records. But now the word is on the street. All these court documents are public for everybody, for all the judges in the world to look at. And this is how they hide this secret within their organization. They're going to pay millions. We just read a few reports here where they've been paying $2 million, $4 million. The Montana case, they haven't even gotten started there yet. Those 2 girls haven't even got to trial yet in front of the judges. And that judge really knows Watchtower. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. I don't think it's going to be good. But that's the way it is. It's the wave of the future for the Watchtower. So we're going to close out with this. And until next time, folks, keep living your life with love. Bye for now.